Hello. It has been a while. I think I last posted October 2025. So I had a lot of stuff to catch up on. I have notes in front of me, so I'm going to be mostly looking down, and I have something blocking my sight of myself because this is like the 10th time I've tried to start. And every time I look up and see myself, I mess up. So this is going to be Duck Pond Diaries number 12, I believe. Okay, we'll just go with that. The last really thing that I was talking about, first of all, I want to make a correction. I just did a podcast with Matt Dyke on River City Mystery, the disappearance of Debra Ann Wilhite. It's episode 23 on rivercitymystery.com. And when we were talking about Chaos Divers, the sonar search and rescue, search and recovery group that has searched for my mother and is continuing to, I was talking about Matt and I were talking about how many cases they had solved from their search and sonar, and I said some stupid number like 5. I don't know where that came from. That is so way off. In my defense, it was my choice this time of day, but we had recorded for the podcast on a Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. So I had just started drinking my morning coffee and just kind of rolled out of bed. So I guess that's why. However, Chaos Divers' correct number of solved cases because of what they do is 22. 22 people they have found in their car, in a body of water, and brought home to their families. So that just kind of gets me choked up. I can't imagine 22 families and all the people that goes out from that one person. You know, it's not just them and their family. It goes out so much more for just one single person on the earth. So God bless them. Anyway, I'll talk more about that, but I hadn't really elaborated on, I did a post last year saying that I received my second denial from Indiana State Police trying to get the case file, my mother's case file. And I didn't really elaborate on that. And after that, I really just kind of laid this down. I'll never just give it to God and lay it down. And, you know, I feel like I have to do something, but sometimes it's very overwhelming and it gets to be too much. And I guess when I got that second denial, I just needed to put it on the shelf for a bit. So I don't put it away. I put it on the shelf, put a pin in it, as they say. So anyway, I'm going to go back to that. I never said anything about, I didn't ever elaborate what they said. So the first denial, I went through the proper channels on the website for, the proper request to submit the paperwork to request a copy of the case file. And from that, I got, I first got an email confirming the submission that I submit. And then, like the same day, hours later, I had gotten a email that said it was accepted, and the next communication that I would receive from the Indiana State Police would be the records department or whatever. And then after that, later, I got an email from a paralegal that basically said, well, this is an open case, so nah. Have a nice day. Her email was so aggravating. But so I had, from the suggestion of one of you followers, I contacted the public access counselor from the state of Indiana, and I told him who I was, what I was trying to get, that I had filled out the Indiana. It's not a FOIA, but FOIA, I don't know. There's another abbreviation for the request, but from other states, but for Indiana, it's an APRA request. I don't remember what that stands for, but it's the proper, can I get a copy of the case file request form. So I told him whatever. And this was back in Monday, September 29th, 2025 is when I emailed the public access counselor about getting the email from the paralegal. And his response was, Misty, this office deals with complaints for violations of the APR and open door laws. We are careful not to opine on cases that may end coming before us as a complaint and where we obviously do not have a response from the other side. However, investigatory records are disclosable at the discretion of the public agency. It appears, at least in the past, that someone determined your records, as requested, were disclosable as evidenced by your ability to view the file. My suggestion is that you get a hold of someone above the paralegal role and see if you can at least view the updated file in the office. And that was from the public access counselor office. So I had, regarding him saying, see if you can at least view the updated file in the office. The detective in the cold case unit on her case had already told me previously that they don't let you do that. It's not something they allow you to do. When I first got to go in there at the Indiana State Police Evansville post, Sergeant Joe Rhodes was the person who, I think he had started on the case as soon as it came over in 1976. It sounded like he had had it for a long time at that time. So 1994 is when he determined that it was all disclosable to me. So anyway, so I sent him that on Monday, September 29th, 2025. The same day he replied. And then I did what he had suggested, and I found out who was above that paralegal in the legal department, because everything goes through the legal department, and sent a letter with all of my documentation, including emails from previous detectives and emails from the current detective of that I have received information from the case file, and trying to just beat it into somebody's head. Just because it's in the case file doesn't mean it's not disclosable to me. Because they've given me some information about it. They've given me addresses, they've given me dates. You can give me more that would not hinder your investigation whatsoever. Just because it's an open case doesn't mean it is not disclosable. Someone could sit and go through and give me what they could give me, but I understand that with the number of cold cases that are open and still unsolved, some being murders where they, are trying to find who killed this person that they know was killed and how they were killed. I feel like that, in my mind, that goes over a missing person. because there's nothing to go on. There's nothing to go on. Anyway, so, hold on, I need a sip of coffee. It was more like a chug, but. So I did what he suggested, and I found who was above that paralegal in the legal department, and I sent a letter. I had gotten some suggestions from 2 different people that Chaos Divers had put me in touch that are other members of missing persons who have gotten copies of the case files. So I had like wording and stuff, and they both got copies. I don't think it was with the state police. I think it was probably city police, county or city, I don't know, that they got their case files from their family, for their family member. And this being the Indiana State Police, and even Chaos Divers has dealt with them, and they have confirmed it. Indiana State Police, they don't want to give up anything. They don't want to give up anything. And like, I understand well, let me go on. I'm just rambling out my mouth. So I emailed the person over the legal person, and they sent me an email back. And like I said, I had sent all like what I had sent before, documentation of like, it's documented that I have been, there is disclosable information. I need to just get on it, Misty. Okay. She emailed me back. I'm not going to give names or anything. She's a legal counsel for the Indiana State Police. This is her email. Reference your attached appeal. ISP will not be releasing the files. This is an open cold case investigation that could still be solved. It's been 50 years, but okay. I can put you in touch with our cold case unit if you would like to discuss the case, but we will not release the files. You should not have been allowed to review them in the past, but I cannot change anything that occurred in 1994. Any public disclosure of the files could compromise any investigatory leads or potential prosecution. While you believe that is unlikely, our cold case unit is resolving these types of cases with closures and prosecutions. Please let me know if you would like to be contacted by our cold case unit. Thank you. Which I'm already in touch with the cold case unit. And I think I talked about it before, but the detective, like when I first did the request and got the first denial and was talking about that, there were some people that contacted her directly and were like, you know, pretty much giving her crap, saying that she should give me a copy of that file. That doesn't go to her. Everything goes through legal. She didn't even know that I had been trying to get it. So, everything goes through legal. She has given me quite a bit of information, but I want more, which I think it can be understandable. I want everything that I can see. But like the stuff that she's given me, she made it clear I had to go and get permission to be able to send you this. So she's been really good. She's been great. The detective that's on the cold case unit, she has solved other cold cases. 30-year-old murder case, which this is one that I was like talking about, where there was a person that was murdered, and 30 years later, she found who the murderer was, and he was, their goal is prosecution. So for a missing persons case, what I want and what they want are completely different things. I don't care if I want to find my mother. I want to find out what happened to her. I want to find her remains. That's my goal. Would I like to know, who hurt her and put where she is? Of course. But if I have to lay lay that aside in order for them to, you know, be able to prosecute somebody, that's not the goal to me. It's not the goal to me. Okay, let me get back on track. Let me make sure I'm still recording. Okay. So I got that, the second denial. I sent it on October 20th. Or no, I got the response back. I got the second denial on 10/20/2025. And then I put it on the shelf. I didn't email the public access counselor again until June 29th, 2026. Just a couple weeks ago. And let me see what I said. What did I say? What did I say? I was pretty much begging at this point, and this is to the public access counselor. I said, hello, regarding your email below from last year, I did contact the legal counsel and received the attached response. Please, I need help. The first thing that has to be done is my mother's remains have to be found. This case is over 50 years old. Cold case doesn't have time to look at this and give it the dedicated time that it deserves. But I can. Please help me. And then I sent the thing, and he asked when that was sent to that person, and I told him. And then he said, this is from June 29th, 2026, from the Public Access Counselor Office. The Indiana State Police are electing an exception under the statute to decide not to release the records that you requested. ISP invoked the investigatory records exception. It was a valid option for them and does not require an ongoing investigation to be applicable. Did you contact the cold case unit? And that just made me go. I said, yes, I'm in contact with the cold case, but it doesn't matter. Thank you for your response. He said, you are welcome and good luck. So that's where we're at right now. It's frustrating to say the least. I'm going to submit another one, but it goes to legal, and I don't think it can go past legal. I did, within the last month, I sent a couple emails to the detective. We did have a tip. This is going back to May of 2026. Just like a month and a half ago, someone contacted me, one of the followers. You know who you are, thank you so much. Contacted me and said, hey, I was driving through Mount Vernon to go to, somewhere, and I saw this car sitting in somebody's yard, and it was like half covered up with a canopy next to a stack of, firewood next to an old barn in somebody's yard. And it looks like the car that you're looking for. So I gave that information to Detective Walden. And I didn't hear from her for a couple of days. And when she did get back to me, she said that, I don't have it pulled up, so I can't read it. She said that she did go to the location, because I gave her the address. I sent her pictures that I was sent. And I said that I got this information of where my mother's car is. I just put it like that because my girlfriend is ex-law enforcement, and she said that's how I should word it, so I did. And so a couple days after that, she emailed me back, and she said that she went to the residence that I gave her. She spoke to the residents of the house, and she looked at both of the Ford Galaxies. There was two on property, two Ford Galaxies, and she checked the VIN numbers against my mom and dad's 1966 Ford Gallery, and they did not match. So I have been in contact with her the last couple of months. I told her about the searching for Debra.com website that I've just done, and I told her about how I have an anonymous tip. You can submit a 100% anonymous tip on the website. That's something that's not been available before to the public, and I assure you it is 100% anonymous, and it goes directly to me. There's a place where when you submit a tip, you can put your email, you can put your phone, you can put your name, if you are willing to, give follow-up or for me to ask questions about you sent. But you don't have to. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to give your phone number. You don't have to give your email. It doesn't capture your IP address. I don't even know how to do that, and I run the website. So it is 100% anonymous. I've gotten a couple of things, but they weren't really tips. They were just like, I think someone had said, the first one that I got was someone saying, I don't understand why they haven't looked in the Ohio River for the car. I believe they have. I'm pretty sure Chaos Divers has, on several different occasions, has been in the Ohio River. And I think that they have now, cleared the entire area that on the Evansville, Newburgh, that whole area.